Hey HBs, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels and sometimes other romance media while giggling, commenting, and telling stories. I have some amazing news. You showed up for our Patreon fundraiser, and after doubling, we donated a whopping $1,932 to AAPI Women Lead. I'm so thankful for your support, and I was incredibly proud to make that donation. Even though the fundraiser is over, Patreon is still there. It's where you can find tons of extra content, video, and so much more. It's generally just a party. Head to patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms podcast and check it out. This week, we have some very special guests. Liz and Meg from Make Out Already podcast joined me to recap the movie About Time, which spawned opinions on Star Wars pairings, pontificating on time travel via masturbation, and so much more. Here we go. Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm so excited to be here.
It's Liz. It's Meg. It's Meg. It's Liz. They're from Make Out Already podcast.
Yay. I'm Liz.
How are you? Yeah.
I'm Meg.
Good.
Yay.
It's my birthday today.
It is today, right? I thought it was
Yes, it's
yesterday. Okay.
No, yesterday was when the drinking was happening. Well, when the drinking started, because it is currently continuing.
Yeah. That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
Just keep it rolling.
Has it been a wonderful pandemic birthday?
It has been. I mean, I don't know that I know how to celebrate a birthday anymore
Same.
since the pandemic. So I was like, people were asking me, what are you going to do for your birthday? I'm like, I don't know, doing things, going places, seeing people. That's not a thing.
Who's that?
I know.
I don't know her.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but it's all right. You've got your closest people. I heard there was a Swiss cake roll.
Oh my god. So last year, Meg is a very talented baker, like crazy talented.
Oh, shucks.
And last year for my birthday, I said that I wanted a Swiss cake roll. Because
Okay.
there's this recipe in this Martha Stewart baking handbook that I own that I've never made anything from.
Sure.
It's very intimidating.
That sounds like all the recipe books in my house.
Right.
So I asked Meg for that last year, and instead she made me these homemade Pop-Tarts that were amazing. So scrumptious and delicious. But I think that this year, she was ready. She was ready to tackle that challenge.
I was ready. It wasn't the Martha Stewart recipe, though. I forgot that was the one. Whoops.
Yeah, that's
no,
all right.
it was
You improvised.
It's
You did
fine.
it.
I just wanted a big Swiss cake roll, and it had this marshmallow filling. It's just so good.
Oh, wow. I've never even heard of that. I've heard of a pumpkin roll, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I'll have to Google it afterwards and see what is going on. I bet listeners Googling it right now.
And then apparently Meg and my husband were conspiring about the actual technical aspects of it because my husband's a chef.
Okay.
Yes, we were in cahoots.
Yeah.
Wow. Husband is a chef.
I know.
Ooh.
Yes.
The jackpot.
That's some fancy
It's the
nonsense
dream.
over there.
It's the dream. Well, your husband owns a comic book shop, so that would I would take that too.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. He's all he grilled lamb today. He cooks
Ooh.
most of the food in our house. He's basically the family chef. You know what I mean? So I'm good over here, but yeah, the idea of a chef in the family is really nice.
He's really
most of the time
too.
he just makes ramen though when he's home.
That's fine.
He
Ramen
just
can
doesn't
be
want
very gourmet.
It's not the gourmet kind. He just makes the instant ramen because it's easy. It's comfort food.
Yeah,
Does he
fair
church
enough.
it up?
He eats all the time. He sometimes churches it up, but sometimes I think he just wants to slum. He cooks all day and he's like, you know what? I just want to eat some trash.
That makes sense. Well, so there's a joke about along those lines in the movie we've got today.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, some of these jokes are like,
Yeah.
This
What
was
year was
definitely,
this movie?
wasn't it 2008?
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Shoot, I forgot to Google that. but it's an early. It was
2013.
Okay. Wow, that's not that early.
Is that
okay?
That's way worse, right? Like,
yeah, it's not that early for like all the like prostitution,
right?
Instead of sex
quote
work
unquote,
jokes,
yeah, quote unquote prostitution joke,
Mhm.
and by many we mean like all over the place. Like it wasn't that one scene. It was all
like
over
yeah,
the place.
like
it's
at least a
like-
dozen, right?
Yeah,
I look like a prostitute here, and she's kind of a prostitute there, but like a really nice prostitute here.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry, everybody. I still love the movie.
I thought it was so cute. I thought it was very fun and cozy, despite
Yeah.
like there's always like a couple of problematic things in everything. It's
Oh,
just-
of course.
yeah.
Of
So-
course. So y'all chose About Time to recap today, and I'm super, super excited about it. So, listener, I have to let you know, I was a dick nose, and I asked them to do this kind of last minute. And so, like, a book was sort of off the table. But I thought that was even better for you because you don't just talk about romance books on your podcast. You do, like, all romance media, but it's mostly, like,
Right.
contemporary or alien, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment. Contemporary or alien.
We
That's what I
contain
thought.
multitudes.
Mhm.
Yeah. You dipped your toe into a Bridgerton, but like mostly it's contemporary
Yeah.
or alien, and I dig that about you. I'm not gonna lie.
We like when we can see the sex happen, and that
Yeah,
often
I hear that.
is, like that's a sure bet in contemporary.
Mhm.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we've got to recap this movie. I'm
Mhm.
very excited about it. We've got Rachel McAdams. She's not
Oh,
here yet though, because
No.
the main dude is this redhead that I didn't Google his name, but
Domhnall Gleeson
okay, that's the one.
He's in Star Wars.
and Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry
He's
Potter.
he's the guy in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
he's the dude who
God.
hates Kylo Ren.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, he's got a big beef with Kylo Ren, and I
Mhm.
kind of love that about him.
Mhm.
I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Which
I am not-
Weasley is he?
I am not a Raylo person.
Oh, we are.
I'm not a Raylo person.
we know it's wrong, but it's really hot.
I'm not a Raylo person. You know what? I would be there for like a Raylo fling. If you want to do a fling, that's fine. But I am a what's his name? Poe. I am a Ray Poe person.
I would
Oh,
love
that's who
Ray
I
and Poe
am.
together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
think
like
that's
they had
his
the
name.
Han and Leia kind of bickering back and forth
Yeah.
that I enjoyed.
How did we get here? I'm so sorry, everyone.
No,
We had an
And
in-depth
he's-
discussion about why this is problematic. That we love these
on
kinds
an
of
episode that I still need to edit. Yeah.
terrible pairings where it's like not really good for either party, but we like,
Ooh,
want it to
okay.
happen anyway.
I like that.
So he was Bill Weasley. That was the Weasley.
Okay.
He was.
Gotcha.
No, not Poe. I'm not a Poe. Oh shoot. What's
mean
his
Finn?
name? Finn. I'm a
yeah.
Finn.
Oh,
I'm a Ray Finn
100%.
person. Yeah, I'm a Ray Finn person.
Poe, I wanted with Laura Dern. Just,
Hard.
Like, let that
Ooh.
happen.
Oh yeah.
Let
Oh
it
yeah.
happen.
With her goddamn dress all the way up to
Yeah.
her neck. Oh,
and her
my
like
Jesus.
purple hair.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Can't even with her. Yeah, I'm a Ray Finn. Sorry. Here we go. So, we've got the guy from Star Wars, except it
Mhm.
was way pre-Star Wars, everybody. And
Mhm.
he is this redhead, this lanky redhead who's adorable. He's got like
So cute.
the perfect family who lives in Cornwall, which is an England place near the beach, maybe in the south. And they're just like the happiest family. They're always talking
They are.
about how like handsome the mom is. And I kind of take umbrage with that because she's great and
Yeah.
beautiful. And also like handsome women are fabulous too.
They call her sturdy.
Sturdy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I dig it.
I do.
Only in England would that woman be considered sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like an elderly model. Not elderly
Mhm.
even. She's just advanced in age.
Yeah, she's just a mature
Yeah.
model.
She's mature. Yes.
Yeah, and the way that they tried to make her quote unquote sturdy is just to put her in the biggest rain jackets they could find the whole time. That's really what they did. Okay, So they've got like the best life, and they skip rocks on the beach and they do all the things. But the worst party of the year is the one they always host on New Year's. And everybody hates it, but they always do it. And so we watched the first New Year's party, and like his sister is infatuated with this dark-haired guy called Jimmy, I think. Jimmy.
Ugh.
Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. Sorry, that's a spoiler. And there's this crazy friend, Jay, who's even redder-headed, and I love that about him. Wow.
How is that even possible? But
I know.
It was.
I loved it.
He was like the same font, but in boldface.
It's true. It's true. And then there's this crazy blonde girl who's just the most awkward, adorable little muffin that's ever been alive. And she has it bad for our main character. And he is definitely trying to move as far away from her as possible. Did you guys catch that when she was dancing, she would flip the lace overlay of her dress
Over
onto her head? No, I was like, she's flashing everybody vag, but there was a slip section of the dress.
I missed that entirely.
He was very abashed by this. He had no idea how to react to
He
it.
had
at
no
all.
That's like
idea
a
what to do with
mating
himself.
dance.
Seriously.
Showing what she's got.
Oh my gosh, she was Queen Bird. Yeah. No, you're completely right about this. She was Queen Bird. I love that I turned it into your assertion somehow. How did I do that? Anyway. But yeah, she was great.
And she was actually in Fleabag, if you've ever watched that show.
She was the best friend in Fleabag.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Fleabag.
gotta watch Fleabag.
You
Okay,
literally
does she-
heart
have
out.
to.
Does she fuck the priest? I don't care if
Listen.
it's spoiler. Does she have sex with the priest? With the hot priest?
Yes, of course
Yeah.
she does.
Okay. Well, cool.
She would never let us down like that. Come on.
Cool. I might watch it just to
There's
find out this context.
Listen to me. There is a section where she comes out of a confessional, I think they're called,
shit.
and he looks her dead in her face and he says, "Kneel."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything that you wanted. It's so good.
It's an everything that you wanted.
There's a point where she talks about, I think this is before anything really happens between them. She's just kind of fantasizing. She talks about how sexy his neck is.
Seriously. Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And then they show it and I'm like, oh, it is.
Okay.
I see it.
Yeah. It's a weird flex. And yet there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely watch
Queen Bird-
Fleabag and then pre-order Andie J. Christopher's Hot Under His Collar. And you will be good to go.
Andie is writing a priest romance?
Andie has written a priest romance. It comes out in July. Yeah.
Okay, so not to flex, but Andie J. Christopher follows me on TikTok.
Oh,
she has
hello.
no idea who I am. I'm certain. I commented on something. I think she was just hit follow. Maybe it was an accident, but she does. So
Nice. I mean, I hear that. The day that Tiffany Rice followed us on Instagram, Aaron and I almost died.
Meg,
do you want to say your Tiffany Rice thing?
So she is in our state. And
on
Friday, we were at the same sporting event.
No.
Yeah. And I didn't see her in person, but now I'm going to be on the lookout all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not creepy at all that we're trying to run into Tiffany Rice.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Pay attention to sports? No. I'm
there you
gonna
go.
Look for Tiffany Rice.
That's the only sport there should be in the world. No
Looking
more
for
bird
Tiffany Rice.
watching. We're not birders. We are Tiffany Ricers.
Yes.
Okay, I really have to focus here.
No, she's queen birding. She's queen birding, and she wants a midnight kiss from Hot Ginger Tim.
Yeah. And he does rebuff her hard on that score. He does a big, I'm going to look straight in your face and then look away and turn my back and be real awkward. And she nearly cries right there. She's trying so hard to hold it together. And she's such the sweetest little sweet pea. And it's a sad. So then fast forward to the next morning, he's got this crazy little sister who comes in and wakes him up by attacking him. It's very cute. But I should say little sister and yet fully an adult.
Yes,
Correct.
in his
Well.
20s.
Yeah. She's not, there's not like an
She's not a
8-year-old.
toddler.
Right. But he finds out from his dad that morning, because it's his 21st birthday, that the men in his family can time travel. And so we get like the rules of the time travel. Do you have any initial thoughts on this?
I have a bullshit.
Tell me everything.
Is it that only the men can do it, or that the men have not told the women? Because later in the movie,
I wondered that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wondered that too. But I guess the difference between that is that later in the movie, he holds the chick's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's supposed to signify that like he's bringing her back.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, it really feels like early on in the patriarchy, they were like, the women cannot have this power.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they only told the boys. And then the family lore became only the boys can do it. And I call hard bullshit on this one. Hard. Anyway. But
it also,
apparently,
like, doesn't really make any sense for powers like that to not travel like matrilineally, because
agreed.
Like, what if there's some extramarital situations?
Agreed.
And then like, oh, he doesn't have the ability to time travel. We don't know until 21 years later. It's weird.
It is weird. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot about this that I spent, oh my God, you guys. As much as I liked this movie, I spent a lot of it being so fucking nervous.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It didn't really feel like they followed their own rules most of the time.
No.
Either that or I did not grasp the rules. I don't know. Still a great movie. So he finds out that all he has to do is go into a dark space and
Like a toilet.
Or a closet, and ball their fists in a ball and then think real hard about the moment they want to go back to, and then they'll just be there. The catch is that they can only travel within their own lifetimes. So they can't go kill Hitler or like smooch a dinosaur or anything like that. But they could do stuff in their own lives. Mm-hmm. So he's like, bullshit. This is hilarious. You just want me to go into a cupboard like a fool and ball my fists and think real hard. So like, meh. But he decides to go back to the party the day before. And then, oh my God, he's there. So my next question is, does he just dematerialize wherever he was?
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it was wrapping my brain in knots when I was trying to understand what was happening. So was he going back and then just like living continuously from that point, or was he going back and then forward again?
I think he can go forward again. So I think sometimes he lived continuously. Other times he just went to the cupboard and was like, get me back to that moment. Because the other thing was, he goes to do this cupboard business before even asking his dad how to get back.
Exactly.
What the shit is that? I know. Right? And then my next question is, if you find out when you're 21 and you go back in time to when you're younger, don't you then know you can time travel from when you're younger?
Oh.
This thing happens like the very end of the movie, which is like the sweetest thing, and I love it so hard, but it makes the rest of the movie make no goddamn sense.
Correct. Yeah.
So your consciousness, your current present day consciousness is transporting to the past. But his dad told him that they could not travel forward, but clearly they can travel forward, just not past where they were.
No, he said we can't travel to the future.
Okay, but they can travel forward back to their present. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
boy.
yeah, I'm all twisted up in knots. I don't know if they're making parallel universes every time this happens.
Right?
Because it would make more sense if he just opened his eyes and, like, he was in whatever room he had been in. But he's not. He has to get out of the cupboard every time.
Right, yeah.
So, like, where is that other body? What happened to that body?
There are also other scenarios in which someone might be in a dark room with their eyes closed, really like reminiscing about something that happened in the past that don't have anything to do with time travel.
A tiny bit.
If you like accidentally time travel yourself, like, are you like then like
that's
dick in
scary.
hand in the
I know,
middle
right?
of, like.
then can you imagine thinking that all you have to do is masturbate to time travel? Like, do you keep masturbating for the rest of your life? Like, are you like, I can masturbate wherever I want to, and then you just keep doing that? Or do you like have to never masturbate again? Who do you tell? You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah. I can't believe I didn't think of that. So they don't have the ability to time travel before they turn 21. It's not just that they don't know about it.
I think that they don't know about it.
Because, like, then presumably it would have happened in one of these intimate, private moments beforehand.
Well, I mean, this is some speculation from the Make Out Already squad. All right, so like, but yeah, I'm thinking that if this had happened, what if he wasn't even dick in hand? What if he had just gone into like a dark place and been like, I'm so mad about something, and then like he just time travels into there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. Listen, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have lots of questions. None of them are answered.
No.
Okay, so he goes back to the party and he does the whole thing again. And like he saves a table from not falling down, and then he kisses the hell out of that blonde. And she's so happy. Mm-hmm. He has made her whole life. And she doesn't even want more from him. She looks at him and she's like, thank you, Tim. Wow. What a great thing that you just did for me.
What a stand-up chap.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay. So now he comes back via the cupboard. Okay, so now he's deciding that he's going to use this thing to get a girlfriend. Because the dad who is
Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy, thank you.
I love him.
God, I love a Bill Nighy. He is just magic. This whole movie is like a who's who of English actors.
Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
We've got Mr. Collins, but like hot. Like angry, but hot.
Stern brunch daddy, Mr. Collins. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another Andie J. Christopher coinage. Mm-hmm. We've got the super awkward guy from Scrotal Recall, the guy who gets married. Oh no, it's called Lovesick now. God, that's such a good. On Netflix, it's called Lovesick now. Watch it. There's like 3 seasons. It is so good. It started off as Scrotal Recall, and then they rebranded because everybody who wasn't a Melody wouldn't watch it for some reason. How fucking dare they? They made me more interested.
Are you talking about his lawyer friend?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. He's in the show Misfits. Also, if you ever
he is also in Misfits. Yeah, I love it. Oh God,
he's just precious. You want to pinch his little cheeks.
He is. Yeah, he's the most adorable tiny hobbit. He's so cute.
Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Aaron, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Aaron and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass.
Okay, so he's decided he's going to get a girlfriend. And that summer, Charlotte comes to visit. Charlotte is Margot Robbie with an English accent, which really threw me.
I need advance notice if Margot Robbie is going to appear in a movie because I need to like have my shields up.
Okay.
I need to like work on my self-esteem. I need to like be like solid. Like, okay, I am enough. I am worthy. Cause she's just like too hot.
I hear that. Yep. I hear that in my bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like everything that the white hetero patriarchy wants us to be. And it's just a real
depressing.
Yeah. Okay, so there's this sunscreen scene in which she's like, oh, Tim, would you put some on my back? And he's like, oh my God, and falling all over himself. And then he like squirts the whole thing onto her and it's a bad. And so then here comes my next question. Because he's like, oh, excuse me, I've really got to go. And he runs into the house to do the cupboard nonsense. Mm-hmm. And then he plays the whole scene super cool from that point. And he's like, oh, just give me a minute. Like, I'll be right there as soon as I get done with this page. And like, na. And the dad is looking on at him in a very proud way.
Uh-huh.
And so can the men remember that they time traveled?
I don't think so. I feel like he just suspected because he knew his son and his son was not cool.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Okay, cool. Now, so the summer is, it says the summer is suntan and torture, which I really liked. And so for the last lunch, he's trying to play it really cool. And on the last night, he goes to her room and confesses everything. And he's like, Charlotte, I think you're the prettiest, boobiest lady in the land. I love you so hard. We can't forget
to say there was like a slow-mo badminton scene or something like that.
Yeah, there was this tennis scene. Yeah, really, they were working it, these filmmakers. So she looks at him and she's like, oh, it's the last night. Oh no, it's the last night. Why are you doing this to me on the last night? It's a bad plan. And so he's like, all right, cool, noted. Goes into a cupboard, time travels to like, I don't know, 2 months before. And then he goes in and he's like, oh, hello, here I am to tell you how much I adore your whole thing you have going on there. And she says, oh my God. She says, why don't, this is very sweet and I really appreciate it. Why don't you approach me again on the last night? And we'll see where things are.
This
bitch.
He's like, bet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when he learns that no matter how much you time travel, you can't force someone to love you.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay. So now he goes to London and he says he's in search of a future and a girlfriend, which I thought was very cute. Mm-hmm. And he says he's staying with a playwright friend of his dad's. And when he shows up, Stern Brunch Daddy, Mr. Collins, from the Pride and Prejudice movie, Mr. Collins, he comes and he's like, what the fuck do you want? What's happening? And he's like, I'm staying with you? Like, you're friends with my dad? And he's like, I don't really even like your dad. What do you want? And then he brings him inside, goes to another room, screams, not into a pillow, and then comes back and he's like, I was having the first good idea I've had in a decade.
And you interrupted me.
Yeah. And now it's gone. So like, you little shit. Oh, God. He does not change throughout the whole movie. And I
love that.
I love every one of his molecules. He's so great. So he shows him his room. And he's like, don't fuck too loud in here. And the guy's like, there's literally zero chance there will be any fucking in my
that he's like, here's a picture of my
house.
daughter. You could fuck her.
Yeah. He's like, apparently everyone else has.
Slut-shaming his child.
Yikes. I am
also,
happy.
Beforehand, he pointed out a picture and he's like, this is my wife. She's the best human in the world, which is why she left me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Yeah, she's the best human in the world. You wouldn't know that, though, because she comes off as a sarcastic cow.
Yeah.
She's this
what a
guy.
Treasure.
Yeah, I bow down at his altar. He's great. Okay, so now he's going to be a lawyer. He's gone to lawyer school, and that's why he's in London. He's got a lawyer job of some sort. And 6 months in, and like, it's a misery. He's not hanging out with anybody. It's not a thing that's happening. But he goes with his friend Jay to an all-dark restaurant. One of those, like, sensory restaurants where you can't see a goddamn thing.
Is this a real concept for restaurants? I did not know of these things.
There are a couple. I mean, they're not, like, super common.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do exist and they're very cool. I've never been to one, kind of always have wanted to, but
Sure.
you know, I would just come out covered in food and drink. Like it would be, I would need to wear like 7 bibs. I would just come in with like a trash can over my person and then we would be fine. But other than that, wouldn't be good. Okay, sorry. So he goes to this dark restaurant and they get seated with 2 ladies and we get to watch like, I feel like a full 12 minutes of this dark restaurant scene. And it's so good.
It is incredible.
He and Rachel McAdams are really hitting it off. And after the end of the night, they're like, okay, so I guess we're going to go outside and see each other for the first time. Like, are you nervous? And he's like, I don't really care what you look like. You're great. So they go outside and then like, wow, Rachel McAdams walks out, you know? That's,
yeah.
It's real convenient for the movie, premise of the movie. And
I feel like her bangs are a third main character too, because they get talked about a lot.
They do. They do. Yeah, I don't love them, if I'm being honest with you. Not a fan of the new Fringe, but it's fine. She's still Rachel McAdams, like
correct, yes.
All over the place.
The bangs exist solely to make us think that Rachel McAdams could, in any conceivable universe, be not that pretty.
Like a kind of frumpy? Like what?
A normal?
Yeah, a normal? A girl who has like understandable insecurities? Go fuck yourself, movie. Come on. So he asks for her number and it's adorable. And she puts her number into his phone and then he says, I used to think my phone was old and shit, but now it's my most valuable possession. And it's so cute. There are some lines in this movie that like people could take note. But he goes home and the playwright has a bad opening night. It's a career ruining opening night. One of the actors forgets the whole last scene and it's terrible. So this is where I was actually clenching every orifice I have because he decides to go back in time to help playwright friend. And that's really nice of you. But what the fuck, man? How did he not assume that he wouldn't meet Rachel McAdams if he does the night over again and he doesn't go to the dark restaurant?
Yeah. Also, dummy, go back to the day before and tell your playwright roommate, hey, do they all know their lines really well? Yeah, and then go to dark restaurant. Go to the 3 days before and talk to the stage manager and be like, have cue cards ready for the last scene. It's just a good idea. Try to make that work. And then go to dark restaurant and meet Dream Girl, dumbass. But he doesn't. He goes to play because he's a good friend and a good chap. And he talks to the wrong actor at first, which I found hilarious. Yeah, he talks to Mr. Dursley.
Right.
Yes, that is Mr. Dursley. Thank you.
And the guy who forgets his lines, he's someone famous.
He's someone.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's someone. And I knew it last night, and now I can't remember where he's from.
I don't know, but everyone in the movie is England famous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very England, except for Rachel McAdams. And they didn't even make her have an English accent. They just wrote in that she was American.
Thank God for that.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
thank God. Yeah, fair.
Yeesh.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So he has to go back in time twice to fix this thing. And then afterwards, he's looking at his phone and he's like, oh my God, Mary's number's not in my phone. Why?
No shit.
Yeah, dumbass.
You've never met her.
Jesus. So he goes back to the restaurant. They're already gone. Of course they are. And then he's like, okay, she told me she's Kate Moss's biggest fan, which is a weird, right?
It is a weird.
That's a weird.
Does it make sense with her character?
I don't know.
Really?
She's not a fashion or
see bangs.
Yeah, fair enough. Bad bangs. Bangs are great. If you've got a bang, that's wonderful. But they're not good ones. Yeah, it was such a random thing. Anyway, so he goes to this Kate Moss exhibit, which exists in this timeline. And I'm sure it exists in all timelines. I'm sure it's happened before. But he goes there and he stalks it. I think he keeps going back in time for like weeks until finally she goes to this Kate Moss exhibit, which also doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it's not back in time. Maybe he just stays. He just goes every day for a week.
Yeah,
and a half.
I think he
Is
goes
that what
every
it
day.
is?
Yeah.
He goes every day because his clothes
change, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So he like stops being a lawyer for a long time in order to meet this girl. I don't know how he's employed after this stunt.
Let me take a week-long sabbatical from my new job as a junior lawyer.
Yeah. Crazy. So then he walks up to her as if she has knowledge of him.
Oh my gosh.
Somehow. Which is also, it is one of the most awkward scenes I've ever seen in my life. He's like creepy, scary. Creepy.
Yes.
He's like, your name is Mary. And she's like, I need to call the police now. And like, it's bad. And then he approaches her again and he's like, my sister's leaving and I wonder if I could just like walk around with you. And Mary's a hard no on this. And her very irresponsible friend Joanna is like, yeah, totally. We need a puppy. Come
Joanna,
on.
the very nice prostitute.
Oh my God. That's right. She is described as like a very nice. Oh my God. Yep.
I'm sure that most sex workers are very nice people. So I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like,
this is so weird. So weird. Oh, and the only way that he gets her to agree is to tell her that he's Kate Moss's biggest male fan. Which
also creepy.
So it's creepy and it's also like way to kind of make yourself off limits. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a regular lady and some guy is like, I'm Kate Moss's biggest fan. I'm like, oh, you're not into this. This is not what
like,
you're going for.
Is this an appealing attribute that he's a super fan of a supermodel?
Yeah.
And like then she goes into a thesis on why she loves Kate Moss, which is that like deep down she's still a normal.
Yeah, like she started as not a model and then she became a model is her thesis on why she did not come out of the womb on a fashion spread. That's basically why she loves Kate Moss so much. And that's what I got from it anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm also not very well versed in Kate Moss or supermodels in general, so who knows?
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, but like I like
we're
that
normal.
Right? Yes, yeah. I try to limit my exposure to that stuff. Really.
Yes.
Okay. So then she tells him this whole thesis, and then they walk around. But he finds out that since the restaurant, and a week later, she has gotten a boyfriend. And so he asks them, like, when they met, where exactly they met. And he's like, no, but if you needed to, like, throw out an address so that someone could Uber there, where was this thing? And then Joanna just throws caution to the wind and gives him her home address. This creeper town who's been, oh my gosh, Joanna, you need to call your mom.
Yes.
Like, we need to do a stranger danger intervention with Joanna. She's not allowed to be alone for the rest of her life.
No, she's not.
We need to buddy system Joanna to the coffin. Like, it's not safe.
Joanna needs a conservatorship.
She does. Like, free Britney, you know, but like jail Joanna.
Joanna needs it.
Yeah, Joanna needs some help. Holy balls. Okay.
Like, down to the apartment number. Like, what?
Yes. Everything. She's not like.
Then when he goes back in time and shows up in her apartment, she's like, oh, hi, do I know you? Dude in my house?
Holy, oh my God.
He's like, I'm here to see Mary. And she's
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. She's over there.
Also, he has not thought this out at all, because what's going to happen when Mary tells her literally only friend Joanna how they met at her party, and then Joanna says, that dude said that he was your friend and he was there to meet you. That's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's scary. Like, he's bad at this, and it should have worked out for him.
No.
And I feel like it's just because he's so, like, unassuming and lanky.
Yes.
He's like, no, this is not a good.
I can understand him using his powers to rectify mistakes he's made, But I don't love that when he like meets her officially for the first time in her mind, that he sort of recites the thesis that she gave him at the museum as if it's his own thoughts. Like that feels very manipulative.
So the way that I reconciled it is that their first meeting, their original first meeting was perfect. If their original first meeting had been flawed and he was trying to redo that one, then I wouldn't have felt okay with it. Yeah. But like he knows that they have chemistry. He knows that they like each other. He's just trying to replicate what they already had before he screwed it up. So
yeah, he's trying to like artificially create his in because he didn't have it anymore. But so I could go on for hours about the different ways in which he could have done that and still just gone to the GD restaurant and had the adorable meet cute that she would remember for the rest of her life. But okay, so we should tell them. He approaches her and he's like, "Hey, your face looks miserable," which is like, nice line, dude. You know,
open with a nag.
Thanks. Wow. He's like, "It seems like you hate this party as much as I do. Why don't you and I go and have some dinners? And we can have I'll get you every appetizer you want, girl." Like, what?
That's my love language.
I mean, it is also my love language. However, in this situation, geez. But, and then you're right. He regurgitates her thesis statement about Kate Moss to her out of the blue. So now it's even creepier because he somehow knows that she loves Kate Moss. This is very, very poorly thought out. Anyway, and like, yeah, I do understand that like it's only manipulating like the premise and not the connection, I guess. But I feel like after you spend 4 hours with somebody, you can figure out a way that works with the context of the evening to like make yourself an in. You know, like he knows so much more about her than her weird Kate Moss fetish.
Right.
And I just don't get why. Anyway. Okay. So she does agree to go to dinner. Dinner works out great. He finds out that she's a reader for a publisher. And so he starts ribbing her about how she reads and like, oh my God, like when you go to restaurants, are you like, I refuse to read this unless you pay me cold, hard cash and all this stuff. And then he goes on this whole thing about like, he worries about the same thing happening to sex workers, but he uses the other word for it. And he's like, I just worry that, you know, they go home and they don't want to have sex in real life. And she's like, oh, are you really worried about that? Is something that you're like always worried about? Which is also very creepy. Correct. So anyway, he does save himself from that. It ends up being cute. And she asks him to walk her to her car, which is hilarious because like 15 minutes later, they're still walking. And he's like, so how far did you park though? And she says that she got a cab to the party. And so he's actually walking her to her car, which is at home. And then they go upstairs. They do like a kiss outside, which it was a very cute kiss.
It was cute.
And then she asks him upstairs. And then she says,
oh my God.
I'm so angry that I did not use this in my single days because what a line. She goes, I'm going to go I'm going to go put on my favorite pajamas and then maybe in a minute you can come and take them off. I'm like, Rachel McAdams, get it. Good work, lady. Oh my gosh.
It's very sexy. And endearing.
Yeah. And so the first time is like a regular first time. And he's like, I'm sorry, I think next time will be better. And she's like, oh no, I thought it was lovely, she says. And just like no, it's great. Good for me too, she says.
I totally came.
It definitely happened for me. And so he leaves and he goes back in time to like the moments before. And then he bones her up real good then. And then he leaves again and goes back in time. And then he bones her up so good that they're like on the floor at the end. And
railed to oblivion.
Yeah, this is a really great way. Like, this is the way you get a girlfriend. You know?
Correct.
He had consent all 3 times. She was super into it the whole time. And yet she has no memory of him being a fumbling rhinoceros the first time. That's really great. Good work, Tim.
But then by the third time for him, first time for her, she's like, oh, you can't go again?
Yeah.
That's it?
And he looks at her and he goes, that's a little unfair. But of course he can't tell her why. Oh my God, it's so good.
Okay, but this is where a question about the time travel comes in for me. Because if it's just his consciousness being transported into his previous body, that body wouldn't have already... Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, would he be fresh,
That's
like ready to go?
Point.
Or, would he be shooting blanks at that point?
I know, right? Like
that broke my brain just now.
So I think what I think happens is that when he does the time travel, listen, I don't know.
The time travel rules in this make less sense than Avengers Endgame.
And that's something.
Yeah. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Just
anyway,
accept it
his
quietly.
penis might be coughing dust at the end. We don't know. It's fine. As long as she gets there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we've got like this happy couple montage, and it's all done in a tube station as they're doing transfers on the tube.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a busking band that's there, and the song is so good.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. And it goes through like, I think like almost a year of them dating. Like it's a long time. There are many
you
holidays.
see them in Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
She's meeting a sister. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. His sister's there. She's so crazy and zany. It's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And now they live together. And the parents arrive. Oh, noes. Her American parents are here.
And she's like, so you don't live here. You probably want to put pants on. And he's like, okay, so I don't live here. Do we have sex? And she's like, yes, but not oral. And he's like, when would that come up?
In what world would I talk about oral with your parents? And so then she's so nervous. It's like radiating off of her how nervous she is. She answers the door and they're like, oh, should we come back when you don't have company? And she goes, oh, no, Tim's not company because he lives here. And then she looks back at him and she's like, ooh, what did I do? And then what is he saying?
Tim's like, but we don't have oral sex.
Yeah, but no oral sex. And then he immediately goes back in time to fix that mess.
Pardon me.
And then they have this adorable dinner where she's like, she won't let him answer any questions because she's so nervous and she wants her parents. She says she wants them to love him so much because she loves him so much.
Aww.
God, they are adorable together. Yeah. It's like a crime how cute they are together. And now he wants to go to the theater. And he's like, do you want to come with me and be my date? And she's like, no, I'm going to be sleepy all day. We're doing sleepies over here. And you go to the theater. I hate theater. So he takes lawyer friend, adorable Rory. Yeah.
Hobbit Rory.
I love a Rory. I love the fact that sometimes he introduces himself as the wrong name because his boss will not remember his name.
Yeah.
God, it's so
Roger.
funny. I'm Roger. Well, no, I'm not.
That is not my name.
God,
have you ever introduced yourself by the wrong name? Because I'm pretty sure I have. Or like very nearly did.
Like a version of your name? Or
no, like I've forgotten my name. I was so nervous.
I don't think I've ever done that. I've definitely done the thing where like you go into a bar in a new town and you just like decide to make up a story for yourself. That's a fun one.
I would love to do that.
It's a fun. Yeah.
I don't, the only thing is like when I'm picking my random fake name, I like never pick anything that would actually be anyone's real name. Like it's always like a version of like a Disney princess.
That's fantastic.
Oh God.
When I was really young, I desperately wanted my name to be Cynthia. For some reason.
Cynthia.
Like Cynthia, the doll from the Rugrats?
I have no idea. I don't remember Rugrats. But yeah, I desperately wanted my name to be Cynthia. I would like write it over and over again in cursive. And now I look back and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good with Melody. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Melody is a perfect name for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
My
welcome.
mom did very well.
Hey HBs, I started an Etsy store. Did you know? Right now, it's full of all the St. Vincent items you need because St. Vincent is thoughtful and cozy all year round. We've got a book sleeve to keep your books, planners, e-readers, or really anything else safe when you're on the go. The inside is fuzzy, and they feel so incredibly lush in your hands. I went round and round with the manufacturers to make sure I had just the right thickness. Those feature art of St. Vincent and Evie during their carriage adventure that was painted by the amazing Mayara Faraz on one side, and then I created a St. Vincent Would Always wreath on the other side that has a bunch of little Easter egg items in it. There's a St. Vincent Would Always warm brick enamel pin. It's like, if you know, you know. I designed a special edition Marriage of Convenience candle that is specific to Devil in Winter, with the help of HB Jen at Post Pouring Company. It combines dark amber for St. Vincent and rosewood for Evie, and it smells so delicious. It's hard to even wrap my brain around. So if you want to treat yourself or be the St. Vincent you want to see in the world by getting a care package for a friend, check out our Etsy store. The link is in the show notes.
Okay, so now he goes to the theater.
Theater with Rory.
Yeah, and at the very end, he sees that Charlotte, dream girl Charlotte, is in the audience. And so he's like, oh my God, I have to go talk to her. And he goes up to her and he tries to talk to her twice. Both go very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
First, because when she says, oh, and this is my girlfriend, Amy, I think, he's like, oh my God, this makes so much more sense now. You didn't shoot me down. I can be fully okay with my masculinity and my prowess as a male because you're gay. And she's like, what? No, I'm not. And then the next time he comes up and he's like, oh yeah, girlfriend,
lecturing.
But look out. Look out because people might think that you're gay if you say that. And her friend is like, I am gay.
Is that a problem for you?
Yeah. And he's like, no, oh no. And so he leaves again. And then by the third time he goes, he's just like, fuck it, we're leaving. We have to go. She cannot see me. I can't do this. But she sees him outside on the street and like is into it and asks him to dinner. And so he goes to dinner. And then that goes really well. And they're like laughing and there's this whole thing. And then she's like, will you walk me home? And he's like, sure, I will walk you home. And you can like...
This is when all my orifices clenched.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because my very first question, and I don't know if this says something about me that's not great, but like...
Oh, I think that you thought what I thought.
Okay, because my very first question from like when the dad told him about it, I was like, so can you like cheat on your spouse and then go back in time to before the event and not do it that time, and then you've like technically not cheated on your spouse?
Right.
That's
like
exactly
in the void.
what I thought he was gonna do.
I was
he's
so
gonna
scared.
fuck her and then go back.
I was so scared. Thank goodness that didn't happen. She fully hits on him, tries to get him inside the house, and after really thinking about it hard, he's like, it was so good to see you. Thank you so much. I have something to do. I have to go. And then sprints all the way back to his house to propose to Dream Girl, Rachel McAdams. And she's sleepy. And she won't listen to him.
I felt this. So when she's like, that's really rude and selfish of you to wake me up. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, you can have this realization and then propose over eggs in the morning. Wouldn't that be
or
lovely?
like realize it without like going on a date with someone you used to have hot pants for.
Yeah.
Like that's another option.
Meg, you're really shooting for the stars there. You know? So then he has to go back in time again and like try the proposal again. And yet he still chooses to wake her up. But this time he does it with the busker band and lawyer best friend in the living room, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'll totally marry you. Thank you so much for not doing a proposal that's like in front of people. I hate people. I can't wait to go back to sleep." And he's like, "I need to go turn the radio off. I will be right back." And then he like kicks him out. It's so cute. A lot of this movie is so cute.
Yeah.
So now we go back to Cornwall, and she gets along wonderfully with his mom, and his dad beats him at ping pong for I feel like the first time ever, maybe, because they play ping pong together. And Bill Nighy is just a national goddamn treasure, an international goddamn treasure. I'm so sorry. And his little sister Kit Kat, they call her, isn't doing well. Like, you can tell she's a sad, and she's moved back home from London, and she's just not great. But then they announce that they're getting married, and they're gonna have to do it soon because she's preggers.
Woo!
It's very cute.
It was super duper cute.
Yeah. So then we get to the Okay, wait.
There's an adorable wedding planning scene.
Yes. We have to.
Where she's giving him positive reinforcement for the behavior that she wants to see, which is him being decisive.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, whenever you make a decision, I will remove an article of clothing.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end, I don't remember exactly what it is, but she doesn't like his decision. And so she's not going to take off her pants, her underwear. And then he chases her around the house, and they're just the cutest together. And
it was honeymoon. He said honeymoon in Scotland. She's like, I'm not taking my pants off for Scotland.
Yes.
I want to go to Bali for 2 weeks.
It's so cute. God, I love them. Okay, and now this is the first time in a long time that I have literally belly laughed out loud by myself at a movie. Because they go to the wedding scene, and they do the wedding, and it's beautiful, this church wedding. And then they go outside, and it's like this monsoonal type rainstorm. It's bananas. Like, it's so bad that they have tents outdoors, but the rain is so bad that it like collapses the tents and like rips through, and water just pours onto everyone. Oh my God, this comedy of errors with this rain wedding was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie, frankly. I was laughing so hard. It's got like that slapstick element that's just so fun, and the absurdity of it. Anyway, and then he redoes the wedding a few other times because he wants to choose the right best man. And he ends up with his dad, and his dad is the best man. Oh, he's so
I loved
cute.
the PowerPoint presentation.
Oh my
like,
God.
These are the girls that he's hooked up with, and what stage of hookup he got to with them. And there was like the number system.
3 is blowjob. And everybody's
8
like,
is penetration.
Oh, yeah.
Jay is also an international treasure. I'm into it. Big fan of Jay. Okay, so now the baby's born. And it's like, there's this adorable scene in the hospital in the maternity ward, and it's fabulous. Her name is Posey, which is like too cute to even stand. I can't. And then Posey is 1. We shoot forward to her being 1. But the sister gets in a big car accident because she's in a really toxic relationship, and she has been since that New Year's party that we mentioned at
fucker
first.
Jimmy.
Yeah, with this asshat Jimmy. And so they were in a fight, and she's been drinking pretty heavily. And so she was already drinking in the morning, probably was still drunk from the night before, tries to drive to the party, and she like gets wrecked. She's in a bad way. So he decides that he's going to take her back in time and fix the New Year's party and make it so that she never meets, like she never gets with Jimmy at all.
Right.
And so they do that. And when he gets back, she's now with Jay. Okay, so this is when he like takes her into the cupboard and holds her hands, and they go back together. And then when they get back, she suddenly is like, oh my God, it's Jay. It's always been Jay. And he's like, okay, cool, I guess. So they go outside, and she and Jay are in this really healthy, beautiful relationship. But when he gets home, he has a different child.
Oh my gosh, my heart stopped.
Same.
When he picked up that kid.
So I was already like clenching everything because I'm like, if you change that Jimmy thing, what if you're not even married when you get back?
Right.
You know? Like, I don't know. Okay, so then he's like, oh my God, I have to talk to my dad. And the dad's like, yeah, I really should have explained this to you, but you can't change anything from before your kid is born or maybe even conceived. Because if a different sperm hits that egg, you've got a different kid. So like if you want the same kid when you get back, you got to stick with all the decisions that you've made until then.
Yeah.
And
so then he's like, okay, so fuck this new kid.
Yeah.
That new kid gets blipped out of existence. Gets Thanos'd out.
Yeah. That kid gets erased. That whole human child. He's just like, nope, not today, Satan. And
very disturbing.
So it's very disturbing. But on the other hand, I was sort of sitting there being like, oh my gosh, like he chose his child. Like that's a tough decision. You have to choose your child over your sister's happiness, you know? And like all of that trauma that his sister endures and all of that. But you know what? When I would have gone back and gotten that ember, you know? Yeah. I would have said, I don't know who you are, stranger kid. You gotta go. I would have gotten my ember back.
Yeah. But I was so worried when he went back that he was going to inadvertently cause his sister to not just get hurt in the car accident, but to get killed in it. Like that she would have eventually made all the same bad decisions. But,
you know, but this time she would die.
This time she would die. So, and like he didn't give it a second thought that like, you know, like, sorry, sis, like, I know you're going to be okay in this accident.
Yeah.
So does he stop her 2 times? Like one time he just like goes back in time to pick her up so that she doesn't drive.
Yeah.
And maybe then he like talks to her and is like, I'm going to show you something. And they go to the cupboard.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Yeah. So, all right. So then so Tim and Rachel McAdams, I don't know her name. Mary, thank you. Are
His
sitting,
mother's name.
Yes. They're sitting next to the sister's bedside and they refuse to leave her in the hospital until she comes to her own conclusion about dumping Jimmy forever and like fixing her life and stopping drinking and trying to stick with a job and like, you know, trying to be more stable. And then at the end of that meeting, he was like, I mean, I think Jay might be around. He's always had his crush on you. It's like really weird. Are you maybe into that? And she's like, oh my gosh, Jay. Wow, that could be a thing I could do. And spoiler alert, she does that thing. So now they have another kid. Yeah. They have another kid. Congratulations to them. I think they have a little boy. Great job. Then we've got this weird dress montage.
Yeah.
So she's a reader for this publisher, and it seems like she has this big meeting with an author. And so she's like, I need help figuring out my dress. They spend 45 minutes up there with her cycling through dresses, and then she decides on the first one at the end. And then she's like, where is Posey? Instead of like, this was such a weird, like,
it was weird
from a parent standpoint, particularly. I was like, what do you mean, where is Posey? I would be like, what did you leave Posey doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Where is Posey is a weird thing to say, I feel like. Because there's like a whole house with a lot of stairs and a lot of other bullshit going on. And so he's like, oh, I left her downstairs, which is also a very ambiguous answer. And then she's like, oh, did you leave her downstairs with the door to my office open that has the manuscript in it? And he's like, maybe. And so Posey has like shredded most of it and colored on it. And she's done a not very charming toddler all over it. And Rachel McAdams is fucking pissed. He keeps on trying to leave to go back in time and fix it. And she won't let him leave. But then they get a call from his mom. and they have to hurry back to Cornwall because dad is sick. Oh no.
Yeah.
Also, this was, I need everybody to know that I was full panic texting Liz and Meg at like an hour into this movie, being like, we have a proposal. What the hell is going to go wrong? We have an hour left in this movie. How dare everyone? This better not fuck me over. And it was okay. It was mostly okay. Okay, so they go back and we find out that the dad has lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the mom is my favorite in this scene because they're like, how are you, mom? And she's like, honestly? And they're like, yeah, I mean, may as well. And she goes, I'm fucking furious. I have absolutely no interest in a life that doesn't include your father. And I was just like, oh my God, that's such a romance.
I feel that. I feel that.
Oh.
And I loved how Kat just like runs past her mom.
Yeah.
Because
No
she wants to
comfort.
see her dad.
Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, she just lopes past her mom, like full gallop, right in there. Yeah. Okay, so then the men are gaming it out because the men are the only people who know about the time travel situation. And the dad's like, I can't go back to not smoke because that was a decision I made before you were born. And I got diagnosed in time. Like I got diagnosed early. It was just like too late, you know, which is a weird sentiment that I didn't quite understand.
Right. Yeah.
But fine. Fine, movie. Okay.
Because if he could go back like until the birth of his youngest child, he could presumably go back like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
For Kit Kat. And so then wouldn't that be early enough?
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, who knows? Okay, and so now he says that he has weeks left to live, and he's going to tell him the secret to happiness. And we get this whole montage. We get like basically shown while he's telling us what it is. And so the dad suggests that you go through life doing all the ordinary things that you would. And he has a really shit day. And everything is just annoying and bad and stupid, and he hates it. And then you go back and you live the same day, basically the same way, except this time you notice all the tiny, beautiful things that you missed before. And it sort of becomes this training exercise that he uses later in the movie. Because so he has the exact same day, the same things happen, but he just reacts to them differently. And he makes jokes where he wouldn't have made jokes before. And he takes care of people where he was too, self-involved to do it before. And he ends up having a really good day that ends in marital sex. Like what's better than that? And then we have to go to Dad's funeral.
Yeah.
This was so good. So they're at Dad's funeral. Everybody's very somber. He has this uncle whose like head's always in the clouds, and he's great comic relief throughout the movie. And he's so sweet. And then everybody's like, okay, are we ready to go? We have to go to the funeral. And he's like, oh, just give me a little moment. And he goes back in time to like right at the end of his dad's life. So he already like both of them are in the know about him being sick. And he walks in and the dad's like, oh, big day then, huh? And they just have this beautiful father-son moment where Bill Nighy like reads him a little bit of Dickens making a joke. And it's what a gift. What a beautiful inclusion in this movie, to be able to spend time with your dad on the day of his funeral. It was really gorgeous. Oh, and Dad confirms that the Nick Cave song he requested is going to be sung. And so the rest of the funeral is to Nick Cave's In Your Arms, or Into My Arms, it's called. Oh my God. It's such a gorgeous scene.
Yeah.
I cried.
Oh yeah.
It was so sad.
Puddles
and
on
then,
my couch.
And then there was another dad moment later.
Oh yeah, we're getting to it. So now she wants another kid. And so he's like, in his inner monologue, he's like, saying yes to this kid means that I won't have any more extra dad time ever again because I I can't go back and change anything to before my kid was born. So he's like, why don't we wait a bit? And then she ribs him a little and he's like, yeah, Dad always wanted there to be more of us. So yeah, let's do it. And she gets pregnant like immediately. And so on the night where like she's probably going to pop, he goes back to his dad for like a final game of ping pong. This is where I just lost it, and I might lose it here.
I'm about to lose
it.
I might lose it here. So he goes back and they play ping pong, and the dad wins, which happens very rarely. And the dad said, "What's my prize?" And he says, "A kiss." And the dad's like, "A kiss? It's the weirdest thing you've ever said." And they just make this eye contact. And the dad's like, "Oh, fuck." And Dad's like, "Oh, so this is gonna be the definitely last time." And he's like, "Yeah, the baby's about to be born." And he's like, "Dad, is there?" So they do this hug and this kiss. And he's like, "Dad, is there anything I can do for you?" And he says,
"Oh God,
I hope I want to just do one more walk." And so they go back to when he's like 7. And they go and they play on the beach and they skip rocks. And they have just like this gorgeous afternoon together. And this makes no sense in the movie at all.
No, it doesn't, but it's so sweet.
It breaks all the time traveling rules, and yet I was just sobbing, and I am attempting not to sob right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is so mean. It's the meanest thing. So yeah, this movie had me actually like cackling my ever-living face off. And then at the end, like legitimately sobbing. This movie is so beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Meg came into the room while the scene was happening.
Really?
Like not having seen any other part, and he started bawling also.
Sweet Mr. Meg. I love
He's
that.
also a big softie.
He is. And father-son stuff is like his kryptonite.
Me too. Yeah. Father father stuff is my
boy.
definite kryptonite. Oh my gosh. Oh.
So then they have 3 beautiful kids.
Yeah, they have 3 beautiful kids. We skip forward to Christmas, and like Kit Kat is happy, and like she becomes a mom, and the rest of the movie is basically like watching him live everyday life. And he's saying that he doesn't really even go back in time anymore. Like now it says he tries to live every day as if he's come back deliberately to enjoy it. And it says, as if it's a full final day of my extraordinary, ordinary life. And then this Ben Folds song comes on, which is also very mean. And he's getting the kids ready for school, and he's flipping flapjacks and doing breakfasts. And it's everything is fucking adorable. Everything is so happy and sweet. And then it's like this greater montage of like strangers enjoying life. And I was just sobbing on my couch.
Oh, God.
So, boy, good choice movie.
Yeah. I love that. I kept waiting for the big relationship conflict, and I was really happy that there wasn't one. And there wasn't really a conflict. It was just like people living their lives and the ups and downs, and oh gosh.
Yeah.
And Domhnall Gleeson is just so freaking earnest.
Isn't he,
and
though?
adorable, and I love him.
Isn't he, though? Ugh.
Could just eat him
That's
up
true.
with a spoon.
Yeah. What a good choice. Good movie. Nice work.
I'm glad you liked it. I went in with like very little information about it.
Excellent.
Same.
Excellent. All right. Well, do you have lady loves? Do you want me to start?
Liz, you go first.
Me go first? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I decided on while we were recording is Olivia Rodrigo just released her debut album, Sour. And it is very much in the legacy of Taylor Swift, of lots of Easter eggs to a relationship in the public eye for people to speculate about. It is this like great, like sort of poppy rock, like angsty. It makes you feel like you're 17 again.
So it's a time travel album.
I don't want to do that.
Good.
Just like this movie.
Yeah, it's a good time travel. That is a good tie-in. But what I love about it is that the day after it came out, my For You page on TikTok has been flooded with people making MCU edits to Olivia Rodrigo songs. Like her song Traitor made out to be like Steve and Bucky. Like, oh, like you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. And it shows like Steve going back to Peggy, like Endgame spoilers.
Yeah.
But, and then like, you know, there's a song called Brutal that is, you know, just like about all her perceived flaws and how hard life is and how much anxiety she has. And it's, I saw an edit that was that song with Wanda Maximoff.
Nice.
And it works so well. And I just like, I love people. People are so talented and so creative. And that's my favorite thing right now, seeing these edits. So that's my lady love.
All right, do you want me to go, Meg, or should you go?
Sure, yeah, you can go.
Okay. So mine is in the vein of like enjoy the little things of, you know, that part, that thesis of the movie. Because this weekend, Michael got his second shot, which is very exciting.
Yay.
Very, very exciting. And my mother-in-law came to help with the kids because, you know, he was down and out for a lot of the weekend. But today, he was feeling a little bit better. And so he decided that we should all grill for lunch. And it was so fun. Like, just a random, like, I just cut up some zucchini. And we put this really yummy garlic lemon olive oil sauce on them and then grilled those. And he did some lamb and we did some grilled tofu. And God, it was just so good. And it was so quick. And like just a lovely little spring, summertime thing that felt like really good, but also like still a little special. And it was really nice.
I don't know why I'm about to cry again. It's just like, I don't know. It just like feels like we're all like slowly getting our lives back. And like to know, like when your partner gets vaccinated, it's such a relief because you feel like, okay, like I don't have to worry so much about you anymore.
Yeah, and he's the last one in our like greater nuclear family to get his second shot. So yeah, it's really nice.
My erotic magnetic poetry set just fell because it was on the shelf. What words came out? Oh, it's not nothing fun came out. It's just like the
Sad
ings.
town.
No divination.
Pudding.
Yeah. All right, Meg, what's your lady love?
Well, this is kind of like a book recommendation.
Yeah.
I have been re-listening lately to The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown.
Okay.
And it does kind of tie into this movie a bit as well, just about like accepting yourself as who you are and not feeling like you have to try to perfect everything constantly. And that is what he spends a fair amount of the movie trying to do, is go back and perfect things. And yeah, I just absolutely love that audiobook, so I'd highly recommend that to anyone.
Awesome.
And then at the same time, I'm working my way through Laziness Does Not Exist by Devin Price.
Ooh.
And it's kind of, they kind of go hand in hand. So if anyone's kind of feeling that way too, or having stress about productivity, which I always have, I recommend those to people.
Nice. I like that a lot. There's this really funny John Prine song. It's called Dear Abby. And
I love that song.
Yeah. So, listener, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially him basically singing a bunch of ridiculous Dear Abby letters. And then every single time Dear Abby responds, she's like, you know, dear person, you have no complaints.
You are what you are, and you ain't
what you ain't. Yeah, it's so good. Oh, it's really nice. All right, perfect. So they need to check you out on Make Out Already podcast. That's like on all the podcatchers, right? They can just subscribe anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So our website is makeoutalreadypod.com. We're mostly on Instagram at makeoutalreadypod. We're on Twitter at makeout_already. You can email us at makeoutalready@gmail.com. And if you want to like watch the same MCU shit posts that I put on TikTok that Andie J Christopher follows for some reason, I'm on TikTok as What the Blueberry.
Ooh, What the Blueberry.
So you can go watch that.
Look how cute you are.
You're so youthful with the TikToks.
I know. I am just like down with the culture of the children and the youth.
Look at you go. I cannot figure out TikTok to save my GD life.
It's actually really hard to figure out like all these transitions that people do.
No, I'm not talking about making it. I'm talking about getting to videos in the app.
Okay.
I'm a big problem over here. It's a problem. Yeah. So anyway,
thank you so
check
much
out
for having us.
Hell yes, of course. Oh yeah, and you can follow us on all the places. We're at Heaving Bosoms on Instagram and at Heaving_Bosoms on Twitter or on Facebook. Our website is heavingbosoms.com, and that'll link you to our kick-ass Patreon, where we have like a metric fuck ton of extra content for you.
Oh, it's so
videos.
Good.
It's really fun. I have so much fun on the Patreon. And then we've got a bunch of stuff on our website, so go there. Thank you so much for coming, especially such short notice. I'm like,
of course.
Oh my gosh, we were honored.
This was the best birthday present ever.
Making you work on your birthday, making you work.
It was an absolute fucking pleasure.
Yay! All right, HBs, keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love masturbating yourself back into the past accidentally.
Ooh, it's scary out there.
Yeah.
You know? Be safe.
You touch both hands at the same time.
That's right.
You gotta keep one palm open.
That's right. All right, thank you so much, ladies. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.